friends, it's Sherry from Turquoise Dreaming. How you doing today? Welcome to Tassel Tuesday. So I hope everyone's doing great. As a reminder, this is a collab that was started by Jovi with Creating with Jovi. There's several ladies that are involved and participate in the collab, and it's actually open if anyone would like to join. And so to join, you can do one today, this Tuesday, or you can join in next week. And we've been doing it each week for quite a while now. And so also we put the hashtag Tassel Tuesday in our description and in our title, so that if you wanted to search, on YouTube, just put in hashtag Tassel Tuesday and all of our videos should come up, or you can click on the links below and look at all the different channels and all of our different tassel videos that we do every Tuesday. So this is my tassel for this week. I enjoyed redoing this leather tassel. So I'll show you what I started with, because this took me a really long time. So I'm not going to try to do one on video because I want this to be short and sweet. But I started with this tassel right here. They were two leather tassels that were together, and I cut the braided part in half. So I just had half for each, tassel. So this is what I started with, a leather tassel, just like this. So I'm going to show you what I turned it into. So I took the leather braided part here, and I added this is a lobster claw clasp on the top, so you can clasp it onto anything. You could use it on a purse. You could even use it for a keychain. You could use it on a journal. You could just use it anywhere you want a little leather tassel. So I added the lobster claw clasp, which you see opens like this, one of those. And then I used a couple of jump rings to attach this pretty blue butterfly. I wanted this to be all about the blues here. And then I added a little kind of a dangly gem here with this silver, because I thought the silver and blue looked pretty together. So I added that with another jump ring underneath this butterfly. And this butterfly I received in Happy Mail, I believe from V. And so then I took the leather piece, the braided piece, and I undid a little bit of the part where I cut and tied it on right here. And I added a little blue bead right there too. So I wanted to have a pretty little top on it. And then, so it was already like this, but then I was trying to add beads to the leather pieces, and you can see how wide they are. There's leather pieces. I guess this is leather. It looks like leather to me. It could be faux leather. I don't know, but whatever it is, it looks like leather. And then there are also some suede pieces in here, which are thinner, like fabric. So what I ended up doing was cutting all the little, I cut all the little leathery pieces. I cut in half, and I cut with sharp scissors as far as I could up all the way on each of the little leathery pieces. So then it made it easier to get my beads on. And I used my little wire trick that you've seen me do. If you haven't seen me do it, I'll link some of my videos where I use the leather or the wire to string my beads. So I used that little wire to get the beads on all the little pieces here. And you can see some of the pieces I added like one bead. I used these little oblong beads and little round beads, and they're all wood beads. And I used those on all. So some of them I put one like this or like this, and some of them I put a bunch. So it kind of really, by cutting those in half, it kind of fluffed it out. And also, of course, by adding the beads, it kind of really fluffed it out, because you can see how nice and kind of like fluffy it is now compared to this one, right? And a couple of them, I wanted the beads on the end, but I felt like they were going to fall off, so I tied a knot under it. So these are like, I'm going to put this in my Etsy, and whoever gets it, these are still, you can move them around a bit, but I would say be careful, because I'll tell you a couple things I learned while doing this. I use the wire, like I said, which you wrap around. Here's, say this is your wire, you wrap it around, and you're pulling your beads over your wire. So you can, if you're not careful, that wire is so thin and kind of like probably actually sharp, and you can actually you can slice this leather. Okay, so if you do this with a leather tassel and you use the wire, you have to be careful so you don't slice your leather off. And another thing I learned while trying to get the beads on here was, say you have a bead with, here's a wood bead right here, okay? So say you have a wood bead. I'm trying to see if I have one with a smaller hole. Okay, here's one. See how, let me hold it up in the camera. See how the hole here is kind of good, but if you turn it over, this hole is almost closed in. See that? So there's two ways to deal with that, which I've learned in this, working on this and previous beading, working with wood beads. So you can use your awl and you can kind of poke through and get that. If there's something over here on the other side, you can poke it through with your awl. There you have your hole all the way through, but you say, oh, but it's still pretty small, so I can't use it. No, you can use it, possibly. So what I did was I took my little needle nose, or round, needle nose pliers here, and I kind of put my beads on there that I felt like I needed it to be wider, and I kind of pushed it. Now you can break. This one's breaking. My blue ones didn't break. They were, these blue ones from Dollar Tree right here, they didn't break. They're a little bigger, but you can push down. My point was going to be, you can push down and make your hole a little bigger. Now this one did it crack? This one cracked. This one did crack. So this is not the ones I used though. I put my blue ones away already, but just as an example, let me do one more here. What I did was, this has a bigger hole in it, so I'm just going to show you. I pushed it down on here and just turned it and made my hole bigger. This one's a little bigger, I think. This one's working. So, yeah. The wood beads will crack, though. You have to be careful what you do with wood beads. They are very sturdy, but, if you put too much pressure on them, they can crack. But this one didn't crack. So yeah, I made a lot of my holes a little bit bigger by doing that. I made sure, and put them on my needle nose plier and made sure they were clear all the way through, and that my hole was the same size on both sides. If it wasn't, I kind of turned it over and did that and turned it over, until I got the hole a little bit bigger so that I could get my leather strips through these, because sometimes this hole starts out a little small or not the same size on both sides. If you've worked with wood beads before, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, it did take quite a long time. I'm glad I had a tassel already made like this to work with. That saved me some time. But still, cutting all these little strips and then putting all these beads on here, it took me at least a couple of hours, but I did get it done in one night, so that's a plus. But let me just show you how it finally turned out as it kind of hangs. It'll be hanging like this. You can see all the pretty beads, and I did this at the end where I put, because I thought, well, it just needs more. I had one on each strand, and I have some strands without beads, so I mean, more could be added. I just didn't want to overdo it. But I got done, almost done. I had one bead on each strand, and I was like, it needs more. So then that's when I did the more than one per strand, or several per strand, and I think that really added a nice touch to it. I like it anyway. And so I thought next week I'm going to try to do the other one, this one here, and I wanted to see how it looks with different colored beads, more of a boho look maybe, because it's leather, and I thought maybe I could give it a boho look with some colors. So we'll see how that turns out next week, so stay tuned for that. But here's this week's blue, beautiful blue, I'm going to call it butterfly tassel. So thanks for watching, and be sure to check out the others, and like and subscribe my video. I would love that, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I'll talk to you soon, and I'll see you tomorrow. So thanks for watching today and have a great night. Happy crafting.